Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, May 23rd. Ms. Spazerski, welcome back. If you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Dargan? Here. Ms. Stetson? Here. Mr. Greer? Mrs. Brate? Here. And Mr. Costello?
Here. Mr. Greer is just running a few minutes late, but he will be with us. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you could please also join me in the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody is filming this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, we're going to get started with our Spotlight on Excellence. One of our favorite standing spotlights on excellence every year is to recognize the outstanding work of the MEF, the Marshfield Education Foundation. We have with us the new president of the MEF, Steve Dion, as well as a stalwart of the MEF, Marie Kerman, who I feel like comes in here for like 9 different things every year because she's so involved. So you folks can come forward. Mr. Granatino, if you have anything to add before they begin.
No, we just wanted to have them have a chance to come and talk a little bit about what's been going on with the MEF. We just had a wonderful celebration of grants for this upcoming school year. So I think that's something that they would probably like to highlight and talk about some of their plans for the future. We do have a new president of the MEF, Mr. Dion, and I want to publicly thank Mr. John Gibberti for all of the work that he's done over I've been here 8 years, and I think he's been president for 6.
Since 2012, 11 years. Well, he hasn't been president for that long. He's been on the MEF.
Yeah, he was on before I got here, but Rick was there for a year or two, and then he took over as president and did amazing work for the students and the teachers of Marshfield, and I just want to thank him publicly. But welcome, Steve,
Yes.
and as always, Marie oversees the whole grant process and the grant cycle, and she's a busy person in the months of February, March, and April, on top of everything else that she does. Yeah.
So thank you for having us here today. We were thrilled to be able to give away $149,000, $554, $149,554, sorry. We accepted 33 grants this year, which we were really excited about. Last year it was 9. And so we were thrilled to have that many grant applications, and thank the teachers for all of their efforts in writing those grants, because it is some work. We recommended 23 grants for funding this year, and all of the schools were touched by some of the grants. So we were thrilled. This brought our total up to $1.1 million that we've granted in the past 12 years. So, and you know, one of the really fun things that we were able to grant this year was the anatomage table. So between Marshfield Public Schools, who kicked in $17,000, sorry, of this grant, it was our biggest grant ever. So it was $45,000 that we granted for this amazing table that Christy Pitts and Leslie Diamond wrote the grant for, and hopefully we'll have some good press on it. But it's a table that is going to be able to show the students any system in the body, the circulatory system, the nervous system. If something goes wrong with one of those systems, they're going to be able to see it on the table and what it does to the rest of the body. It's just it's an amazing tool that will really enhance a lot of the science at Marshfield High School. So that was just one of the great things that we did this year. You know, it was a stellar year for us, the biggest year that we've ever had, at close to $150,000. And our exciting news is, after wonderful years of service with John Gibberti, bringing us from you know, a great organization to an even greater organization, we now have Steve Dion at the helm. So I don't know if you would like to say a few words.
Yeah. Steve Dion, I'm a Marshfield native. Moved to Pembroke for a couple years and just moved back in, I think, 20. We moved back to town. I have a son who's 15. He's a freshman, and I've got a daughter who's 11. I got involved through one of the hockey moms, actually. It was, I'm working on the board of the Hockey Association. So she said, hey, you do some good work, and I work with teachers in my day-to-day life. I work with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Massachusetts, and I manage the municipal labor branch at the company. So I work with teachers on a day-to-day basis. So I was interested to learn more. Maria brought me in, and I saw what we were able to do in the short time that I've been a member at large. And when the opportunity was placed in front of me, I thought it would be a good fit for me, and to be able to help with the community and see my kids through their years and some of the great stuff that the MEF has done. Thank you. I look forward to working with everybody.
Thank you very much.
Great, thank you, and congratulations again, Steve. Any questions or comments from the members on the MEF?
As always, thank you for all that you do. It gives us with kids. You know, I see books that come home that say, found any information constantly understand that you see. So thank you for all of your work.
It's fun.
Yeah, MEF has been able to do so many wonderful things throughout Marshfield Public Schools for a really long time. And I think this year, correct me if I'm wrong, you have your biggest grant you've ever given.
Yes.
Was given out this year, which is incredible. And then you've got a pretty high number of grants as well. So it's just a really impressive year for the MEF. Every year is an impressive year, but this was a particularly impressive one. So we thank you, and we'd like a round of applause for the MEF.
And if I could, actually, before you leave, we're going to steal you for a quick photo up here with our big Happy Gilmore check that you gave us. But I also just thought it was somewhat ironic that our new principal, who we're going to be announcing in a moment for the high school, Miss Amy Setner, when we were talking to her during the interviewing process, she brought up the Animatage table that they got at Bourne High School as well. So she's well versed in Animatage. I think everyone just likes to say that word because it sounds kind of cool. But we're excited to have that as a resource for us in Miss Setner's familiar with it. So that's even better. So thank you. But if you want to come up here, I'll take a quick photo of you guys.
Taking pictures is so much more fun when you know there's a room full of people watching you do it. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move into the student representative report. Come on forward, guys. And for two of you, this is your last meeting with us.
It is. Yes. So sad. But we did bring along, so next year, guys, instead of having 3 people, you're going to have 2.
Okay.
So we did bring one of them, Olivia Parent. She's going to be a senior. Just seeing how we're going to do the meeting. You can start.
Welcome.
So starting off, Marshfield High School's senior banquet for the seniors to sign their yearbooks is going to be on May 30th. On May 31st, we have our graduation rehearsal. On June 1st, we march through our elementary schools, and then that night we have senior awards night that we get gifted scholarships if we were given them. For this middle school, on May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd, all 3 7th grade clusters will be taking field trips to Treetop Adventures, which is a zip line and climbing park. June 5th is semester awards, and on June 9th is 8th grade class night.
Then at South River School, on the 5th of June, they had a grade 3 recorder concert. On the 6th, they have band, strings, and chorus spring concert. On the 8th, they have their kindergarten celebration at 9 a.m. On the 9th, they have their field day for all grades. Then on the 12th, they have 5th grade, their move-up ceremony for them going to middle school. Then at MES on today, the 23rd, they had grade 3 went to a field trip at the New England Aquarium. On Thursday, the 25th, the kindergarten has a field trip to Duxbury. On the 26th, this Friday, is their Spirit Day, so they're wearing green and white. And they also have grade 3, a Memorial Day concert. On the 1st, they have the Mice of Outer Space musical, which is from classes grade 1 and grade 2. They have performances at 1:30 and at 2:15. Then on the 2nd, they have a field day. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you both. Mr. Granatino, I think, has something you'd like to say.
Well, we don't have all three of them there. Ms. Erin King is not with us, but Nicole and Isabella have been stalwart contributors to this process for us for the last year plus, and we just can't thank you enough. You guys have been great representatives of the student body at Marshfield High School, and we are so excited for your adventures beyond high school. Nicole, you're going to?
I'm going to George Mason.
And I just heard you're going to where, Isabella?
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. So George Mason and Virginia Tech, so they'll be representing the great state of Virginia
Yes.
in the next school year. And but we have a little something here from the committee for you folks.
Okay. Unless I'm mistaken, that should be it for pictures today. Awesome. Before we get into the informational, I have two orders of business that I just really quickly want to bring up. First of all, I'd like just really quickly to ask for a moment of silence. Marshfield Public Schools retired teacher Ron Weiss, who was in the district for a long time, passed away a couple of days ago, and would just like to ask folks to please keep Ron in his family in your thoughts and prayers. He was a longtime physical education teacher at a few different levels throughout Marshfield Public Schools, made a really strong impact on his students. So just a quick moment of silence for Ron. Thank you. And the other order of business is quite happier than that. She's going to kill me, but today is Kendra Stetson's birthday. So I would just like to ask, folks to really quickly indulge me and sing happy birthday with me together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kendra. Happy birthday to you. All right. Awesome. Yes, three of you. Yeah.
How did that work out?
I have no idea. That's.
But we didn't pay you a cake.
Well, thank you, folks. Appreciate you for doing that with us. And we'll turn it on over to Mr. Granatino for the informational. Mr. Granatino.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple items. Senior clap out. I see Mr. Centrino here from the high school. We see our new principal. Probably one of the coolest traditions that we have at the high school, and there's many great traditions at Marshfield High School, but the senior clap out on the last day of school for the seniors, which happened to be this past Friday, took place, and it's a real emotional time, not only for the students, but for many of the staff, for some of the families. I mean, you have parents that are out in the parking lot decorating cars during the school day. You have the seniors getting a chance to watch their senior class video in the auditorium together. One more bonding experience for them in the last couple weeks of school, and then they walk out as they're clapped out as freshmen, and then they get clapped out their first day of school as freshmen, and then they get clapped out on their last day of school as seniors. And it was just a really nice, just touching moment that really speaks to what Marshfield High School is all about, and it's a great tradition. And I just want to congratulate the seniors. A lot coming up. We have graduation in a few Saturdays from now, June 3rd, 2 o'clock. Over on Anderson Field, and it's going to be a great day. I can already predict it's going to be good weather, so that's all I worry about. But congratulations to the seniors. Also, our music students have been having a great few weeks. They had their award ceremony, their annual award ceremony, that recognizes many of the, not only the seniors that have been part of the band program, music program for years, but many of the underclassmen as well received awards. The Friends of Music, another amazing group, much like the MEF, very giving and just working doggedly to make sure that they meet the needs of the kids who are in the music program, and they gave out thousands of dollars worth of scholarships. Just a nice evening. And then if you had a chance to be in the gymnasium this past Saturday, it's obviously always one of the best musical events of the year, the Pops, the Marshfield High School Pops concert. And it was just, as always, just a number one. Really talented musicians up there performing, singing, performing, playing instruments, you name it. They did it all, and we had a great crowd, probably 500 people in the audience celebrating music and the wonderful talents of our students. So it was a nice week plus for our music folks. Our strategic plan that we started a few months back is continuing to move forward, and we've had now three full sessions, one data session. We have about 2 more sessions to go, and I'll hopefully be presenting to the committee our draft strategic plan at the June 20th meeting. But the team that's working, last night we were here for three hours. Our sessions are typically 3 hours, and it was a lot of looking at what our pillars or our main objectives that kind of drive us over the next 5 years are going to be, and then some of the strategic objectives under each of those pillars. And it was a lot of work. The team worked very hard. Ms. Dargan's one of the members is on the committee, as well as Mr. Costello, and she can attest to the fact that it was a busy night. But we got a lot done, and we're excited for the final few sessions, and excited to bring forward a plan for the district that will really kind of give us our direction over the next handful of years as a group. Northeastern Partnership is continuing to roll. We met last week on a Zoom call. Ms. Brait, who's been helping kind of spearhead this process from her role in the chamber side as well as the school committee side, met with some of the folks. Mr. Centrino was in on the call, and our guidance director and our science director were there as well, talking with the representatives from Northeastern about opportunities that we have, not only for this possible lab connection that we're trying to establish, or they're hoping to establish down in Brant Rock, but also dual enrollment opportunities for our students. We're already doing some with Quincy College, but this would kind of just take it to another level, being able to get some college credits through Northeastern, and it's a real neat opportunity for our students. We're going to be getting some more information from the folks at Northeastern in the next few weeks, and hopefully we'll have something in place for the upcoming school year for our students to take part in. What do I have? We have a big event coming up this Thursday with our internship celebration, Marshfield High School internship celebration, another endeavor that Ms. Brait has been working with our business department, with Ms. Mincello from the high school. This is an annual event for our seniors that can spend the last month plus doing internships with local businesses or entities, some with the schools, some with our police and fire. You name it, there's a lot of different opportunities for them, and this is the night where they get to kind of talk about what they've been doing and get to celebrate their accomplishments as interns. And it's a great experience for many of them. It gives them an idea of what they want to do when they get out of high school or get out of college. It gives them an idea of what they might not want to do. I remember hearing that from one person who thought she wanted to go into nursing and had spent some time working at one of the hospitals, and then came to the conclusion that might not be exactly what you wanted to get into, and that's fine too. So it helps you solidify what you'd like to do and maybe show you some of the things that you didn't want to go down the path of. So it's a great night, and if you're in the area and you want to come by the high school cafeteria, it'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. 4 to 6, I'm sorry. Yes, okay. So it'll be a fun afternoon, early evening. And then finally, I just wanted to have a chance, it was on our agenda to update everyone on the principal search status, but we've completed our search, and so I figured it'd be something we can celebrate here in my superintendent notes. Ms. Amy Setner is going to be joining us as our principal at Marshfield High School, and we could not be happier. We had 2 fantastic finalists, and they both did great things with the forums that we had with parents, with staff, with students, with our leadership team. But Amy just really rose to the top, and she has the skills and the experience that I think will help drive the high school forward, following in what Mr. Kuther and his team have been working on over the past few years with the new completion of the NEASC report and our vision of a graduate. She's well versed in all things NEASC, because besides being the principal at Bourne High School for the last 11 years, she's been part of NEASC on the visiting side of things, and now is overseeing some of their work. And so I think she's going to be able to hit the ground running and take on many of the things that the school has identified as areas of need moving forward over the next few years. And we just couldn't be happier. As I said, she's been the principal at Bourne High School for the last 11 years. Prior to that, she was the vice principal at the school. She is, like Mr. Kuther, we used to say bled green. I think Ms. Setner bled blue down there in Bourne, because she also was a guidance counselor at Bourne High School prior to becoming an assistant principal, and had been an 8th grade teacher as well prior to that. So she has great experience at the high school level, great experience with NEASC, and has been in well over a dozen school visits herself and oversees many of them now. So she knows what works in high schools and what doesn't. And I know we're excited to have her on board, and I think she's pretty excited as well. We talked a lot over the past weekend, and we had a chance now, since we just wrapped things up, to have her come meet with the crew here tonight, and I just thought it'd be a great idea. So if you'd want to come up, Ms. Setner, and say hello to the committee, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this evening. I am so thrilled for this opportunity. I've had an opportunity to meet with so many different members of the school community, and each one of them has been so welcoming. All day today I've been receiving emails and well wishes and offers of support, contact information, you name it, and that just speaks volumes not only for the high school but for the school community at large. And it also helps me to realize that this is the right fit. This is the right place for me. It feels like home already, and the process was very supportive. It was rigorous, but it was supportive, and I'm very excited to get started, and I thank you all for this opportunity. I'm very excited about it. Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Yes. Welcome.
Thank you.
Marshfield's a special place. You'll learn that. And the flagship of our school district is Marshfield High School, and you're now the educational leader there. And we're excited to have you as part of the team. You have an awesome team of faculty and staff. One of your awesome assistant principals is here tonight, Mr. Centurino, and you're going to have a great team in place, and we look forward to working with you. So congratulations.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely. Would you like to? Yes. Okay, go ahead.
We're going to break our rule about no more pictures and have one more picture. We got to use the backdrop here, so one more picture.
Thank you. Congratulations again, Ms. Setner. Right. A+. Okay, Dr. Martin.
Not a whole lot.
You're going to have to yell there, Dr. Martin.
You can have that one. All right.
We should just take that one out of rotation.
Yeah, maybe. Put it by somebody else.
Yeah.
Just things are still going strong in curriculum work, and we actually were able to have some vertical work done in social studies the other day. So our world history group, grades 6, 7, and 9 met, and then our U.S. history group, grades 8 and 10 and 11, all met. And did just looked at the curriculum and saw some overlaps that we can actually take out of the high school so that they can get further in history. So that was good. That's still going on. We have a world language meeting for a day. Math met for a full day last week. We had our last curriculum leadership team meeting yesterday, and we wrapped up our work on universal design for learning. And just one thing that stuck in my head, everybody agreed to take on some part of universal design for learning and try it. And so Leslie Diamond at the high school actually talked about giving her students, removing some of the barriers with assessment and giving them some choice. And she mentioned that she never would have thought of it, but one of her students actually created a song, wrote a song about photosynthesis and nailed it, like
Nice.
nailed the assessment. So just, we're trying to try new strategies and new ideas. And so kudos to the leadership for kind of thinking outside the box. One other thing, just there is a literacy bill that is slated to go to the legislature. We're having conflicting information on when it's actually going to go to hearing. So I, along with some other assistant superintendents and some literacy leaders across the state, are just working with MASS and MASS, the superintendent's organization, to kind of come to light all of the strengths and weaknesses of the bill. There are a lot of mandates that school districts would have to follow, so we're trying to outline some of those mandates and kind of work with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to kind of get on the same page with them as well. And then we'll see where it goes. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. And some of the work that we're doing behind the scenes.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Martin. Mrs. Scalaro.
I do not have any updates
Hey,
for this
awesome.
evening.
Thank you very much. Mr. Miller, I don't think you need a mic, do you? No updates? Awesome. Great. Any subcommittee reports at this time? Okay, seeing none, we've reached the portion of the meeting for public comment. If any member of the public wishes to address the committee, you are welcome to come forward and do so. Yeah, you're welcome to come forward, yep. Just a reminder, please state your name and the street that you live on. The school committee is legally bound. We cannot reply to any questions that you may have, but we're certainly happy to hear what you have to say.
Sure.
And I do want to note too, typically, and I should have noted this at our last meeting, I apologize, typically in public comment, it's restricted only to items that are listed on the agenda, but I do want to make sure you have a chance to say your piece and make sure that you feel comfortable doing that here. So no worries about that tonight. You feel free to go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm Jennifer Barrett. I live on South River Street. So,
Erica Gold, I'm on Telegraph Hill.
And Sarah Balcom on Whiffletree Lane.
Okay.
so I have a question really about what's going on at South River School in regards to the third grade. My understanding is there's only going to be 2 teachers coming up in the next year, and I'd like to discuss that this evening.
Or at some point.
Okay, so again, we can't answer questions due to the open meeting law. Unfortunately,
Okay.
our hands are tied there, but we do invite you to reach out to either Mr. Granatino's office or...
If you don't mind, I'm not sure, I received about 3 or 4 emails that responded to folks. I don't know if you folks were one of the ones that responded to or not.
We've actually received your text, your response. There is quite the large group chat going on amongst the second grade parents at the moment, so we've
Right.
all gotten the response.
Okay, well, I emailed it back to 3 individuals, and if they wanted to...
You did,
that's
and
fine.
they forwarded
That's
it to
fine.
everyone.
So
Yeah.
if you want to send me questions, I'd be happy to respond, or if you want to give me a call tomorrow, we can chat and talk further about it.
Okay, because I just would like to know, I will respond, but there is a very large concern that there are only 2 teachers. I think the second grade has done an amazing job. The teachers are fantastic. We love South River. We need help, and we need help in the third grade, particularly next year. I think, and I know we're not supposed to go forward, but, there is a massive, massive concern amongst all of the parents that because we are the COVID kindergarten, we are at an extreme disadvantage at this point. I think the second grade teachers are amazing. They've done a great job. The kids are still behind significantly. There are still kids that can't write sentences, they can't read. And as much as we are getting help from, again, an amazing staff with IEPs. I think we're setting third grade teachers up for failure next year with a lot of these kids, so it needs to be addressed.
And there's also a social aspect of it. Some of these kids, if they were to walk into this room and see 3 of their friends, they would stand in the corner because socially they're not ready for this. So to put them in a class size with more children, it's detrimental to all of them. So South River has been doing a lot of lunch bunches, small settings. I'm not gonna say it's not working, but it's going to take time. These kids, this is their first year of regular school without a mask, without being 6 feet apart, being in a full class setting all day. It's an adjustment. And to ask them to go from 16 or 17 and they're having problems there to class sizes of 25, that's a lot to ask 8-year-olds. And some of them are still gonna be 7, or, you know, it's just a concern that my daughter comes home and today we get along with someone, tomorrow we don't, but we can't articulate why, because they just haven't been in these situations. So it's a huge disservice, and I've talked to her 2nd grade teacher, she thinks it's a disservice to these kids. So if the educators think it's a disservice and the parents think it's a disservice to our children, what are we doing? And I understand the guidelines and this many kids, and South River is a smaller school, but that doesn't change the fact that they're children. So how are they gonna grow and develop and have conversations with friends moving forward if they can't do it now?
Thank you.
So when will that be addressed? So if I rent something, does that go on the next meeting? Because this
Well, so
needs to be discussed.
items have to be on the agenda to be actionable by the
Okay.
school committee, technically, for them to be addressed in open meeting. That's not something that we usually enforce. We want folks to feel.
Yeah, like can you just kindly explain to me, how does that process work, right?
I'll let you do that very briefly.
Class sizes, that's not something that the school committee would opine on or would get involved in as far as class sizes, unless we were exceeding class size expectations and I was looking for extra staff. So that happened my first year here. We had a situation where one school was going to have one class that had more than 25 students. I came in as a new superintendent and get asked to have extra support. It wasn't even an extra classroom teacher, it was extra paras in the class to help oversee things. So because it was not a position that we had, I came to the committee. But without getting too much into the weeds here, and I'll talk more with you folks, over the next day or two. If we're not looking to bring in new staff, we wouldn't typically be talking about a class of 16 or as opposed to a class of 23. I mean, right now, the class projections, there's none that are at 25, but it is higher than where it was obviously this year. I understand that, but still within the range that we have. So class sizes would not be, something that would come here unless we were looking to add more staff, which we're not at this time, because the staff that we have allows us to keep class sizes on average, under 19 across all, K to 5 across the district, which is pretty phenomenal. And I'm thrilled that we're able to do that. I understand some classes might fluctuate a little bit, especially in grades 3 to 5 are going to typically be higher than grades K to 2. But all of them are within the expectations that we have set in the past, and they're pretty low comparatively to most districts around us. But I can talk more about that. So.
Yep. I want to be careful that we don't. Yeah. But I do just really quickly want to note there's always a common misconception that when folks have an issue with the schools that they should just come straight to the school committee. The school committee has 3 major duties. We evaluate the superintendent, we work on the budget, and we work on policy. So that we don't, like Mr. Granatino said, we don't get an annual vote on, okay, these many classroom teachers of this grade level at this school, these many teachers at this level at this school. That's not something that we vote on.
So if this is an issue that we have, then who else should we address it with? I guess that's where, because we were told to come here tonight by members of the school, so that's, why we're here.
Yep, the person asked the question too is sitting right to my left.
If you reach out to me, I can chat with you as well.
Okay.
Kind of give you a perspective.
Because we could fill a room with 2nd grade parents with you, and I think that might be you know, if you were willing to do it, to talk to us about what exactly the process is and how you came to this decision, when everyone over in that building is saying this is a horrible idea. So we'd just like to know the process.
Yeah,
So
just,
I will speak,
yeah.
if you three are here, I will speak with you three over the next day or two. I you know, can't say exactly when it's going to be during the day, but I will try to address each of you and we can talk.
And just to be clear, so you're in charge of the budget though, right?
Yes.
So, okay, so all of the hires have to come through this committee for approval?
No. No,
Okay,
we
so how
don't
does that
hire,
work?
we hire one person.
Okay,
Him.
so one person, but you're in charge of the whole budget for
Yes,
the
we
whole town?
vote on a budget, yes.
You vote on a budget?
Yep.
That includes the teacher salaries?
Yes,
Okay.
yep.
And the
But
decision-
again, we don't hire, we hire one person and it's the superintendent.
And the decision, just so you know, the decision that's made when we pick it on class sizes is in conjunction with all 7 principals, all of the central office teams. So it's not just one person or one principal making it, myself making it, it's done in collaboration with our leadership team. And we look at the totality of the district and the needs of the district.
And I should clarify too, when I mentioned the 3 duties that we have, you're always welcome at a school committee meeting, always. Anybody is always welcome at these meetings, and we're happy to answer questions for you in the appropriate manner. I just wanted to make sure you knew that it's not this board that sits here and approves classroom sizes or new teachers or anything like that, unless Mr. Granatino needed to exceed the budget that had been approved.
So I have one other thing, and it does have to do with budget a little bit. South River is not handicapped accessible. My son was in a wheelchair for, I don't even know, and the school could not accommodate him to go upstairs, to go downstairs to have lunch with his friends. It couldn't accommodate even getting him in the building. My husband and I had to bring him to school every day, carry him in. In this day and age, for a child of 5 years old who went from loving school to hating school because he's being excluded is a little disheartening. So I know it's been talked about before, but I think it's something that really needs to be done. We got an email today that there was a fire drill. How do you get a child out of that school who's in a wheelchair? So, you know, what if it's in that child's classroom? You can't wait for someone to get in there, and you can't ask a teacher to stay in the room or in the hallway waiting for someone to come help them. So for me, these 2 issues, the class size and the fact that the school is not handicapped accessible, are huge issues for me because his condition, we don't know what will happen next year. It could happen again next year. It could happen every year till he leaves that school. And school is supposed to be a great experience for children, and for him, it wasn't so much. So those are my 2 issues.
Thank you. And again, we hear you. We appreciate you coming to share your concerns, and we do hear you. And I know Mr. Granatino will follow up.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Any other members of the public wish to address the committee at this time? Okay, seeing none, here's what we're going to do. We're going to rearrange the agenda a little bit. We're going to do the minutes at the end. I'm going to start with the naming of the district venues, then move on to our Costa Rica trip. Yes. I am so sorry. The MEA update, I skipped right over it. Mrs. Marples, please come forward.
Like it wasn't on purpose?
Never.
Just on purpose. She's not going to yell. I have a nice voice.
Love to know what you say about me at home. Sorry, I apologize. Sarah Marples, President of the Marshfield Education Association. Very briefly, first of all, I want to congratulate all our seniors. I was the librarian at the high school for almost 35 years, and it's always an exciting time of the year for graduation. Once again, the association is giving awards to our graduating seniors. This year, we're going to be giving approximately 43 awards to the tune of more than $13,000. It's our way of recognizing our students that we have spent our professional lives helping to grow into the young adults they've become, and it's our way to hopefully help them on the next stage of their learning. And I'm It's one of the proudest times I have is when we're on the stage and we're able to give students recognition and an award, and that comes from every member of our association contributes to that fund. I also know it's really exciting, and I'm assuming we're doing Grad Night Live again this year. Yes. If you have a senior who didn't sign up for it, please have them sign up. It is one of the best times they'll have. It's just really, really exciting. And on behalf of all the teachers and educators in Marshfield, I want to thank the Marshfield Education Fund. What a gift they give to us every year. And I know that comes from all the people in Marshfield, and it allows all of our educators to have exciting new adventures in education and not have to pay for it themselves, which is always exciting for an educator. The other thing is I want to congratulate all our students for surviving MCAS and all our educators for surviving MCAS. And from now on, hopefully, they'll just have a lovely end of the year and a wonderful, wonderful summer. So thank you for a great year, and we're looking forward to a wonderful graduation in a week and 2 days, week and 2 days. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you very much. Continuing with the item of naming district venues, we're going to invite Jean Milch, who's the interim principal at Amesway, to come forward. She has a proposal on a little outdoor area that has recently been constructed. There's folks over at Amesway who would like to recognize the family that donated a big portion of the money that helped build that, as well as an appropriate recognition for the recently retired principal, Bill Campia, who was there for 28 years. Was it 28 years? Yes. Gotcha. Yep. Well, come on forward, Miss Milch.
Thank you for having me. It is an opportune time for our Amesway School front of school project to come to fruition, and I hope you can appreciate some of the things we're pulling together, and they have been sizable. So on December 22nd, 2021, Amesway received a very generous donation from the Deegan family to use the funds at our discretion to create a comfortable and creative learning environment for EWS students. It was a great project to work on. I totally enjoyed it from start to finish. So we decided to research and construct a gazebo in the front space of the school to honor her request. Mrs. Pat Deegan was a second grade and special ed teacher at Amesway School for decades. Her family recollects that her EWS years and time connecting with students were her most cherished memories. 3 generations of the Deegan family have ties to the school to this very day. We would like to recognize the Deegan family for their generosity before the end of the year. And would you consider an opportunity for us to call that gazebo Deegan Outdoor Learning Center? Additionally, as part of our plan to honor our special retirees, 5 of them, we have worked with our PTO to prepare a legacy gift of 2 engraved granite benches with familiar phrases and 5 paver stones with the retiree's name for the ground that will complete the space from our flagpole to the actual gazebo, which will actually have also the floor is a composite flooring, and that's going to include a handicap accessible ramp, and that's still to come. So it really ties the entire project together. If we could possibly call this area of our bricks already existing of teachers, the flagpole, and now new pavers up to the gazebo as Campia's courtyard in honor of Mr. Campia. We would like to honor Mr. Campia for his, since 1999, coming to our Amesway School and retiring this year, and his years of dedicated service to the Marshfield Public Schools. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Milch. Anything to add there, Mr. Green?
No, I think it's a great tribute to outgoing Principal Campy, as well as to some of our outgoing educators who have been servicing the students of Ames Way for many years now. It's important to note, again, that the Deegan Project, gazebo, and some of the other things that have been done around the library there have all been through the money that was gifted to the district by the Deegan family, which is fantastic, in that those benches that we were talking about would be gifts from the PTO. They've stepped up and said they would cover the cost of those benches, so that speaks volumes for the commitment that your PTO has made to the learning community there at Ames Way. It's always, all of our PTOs do fantastic work, and this is just one more example of it. But I think it's a fitting tribute to Principal Campy and to our retirees.
Awesome. Any questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Greer? Right. But I'm sure her family will greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot. Okay, so this would be two separate motions. This would be a motion to name the gazebo area the Deegan, was it Mrs. Milch, the Deegan Outdoor Learning Center?
Yes,
Is that it?
correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's 5-0-0, Mrs. Pazerski. And then the second motion would be to name the entire area out there as Campia's Courtyard in honor of recently retired Principal Bill Campia. Is there a motion on the floor? So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's also 5-0-0. Thank you, Ms. Milch. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, our next order of business will be the Costa Rica trip in 2024 with two of our faculty from Marshfield High School, Mr. Merritt and Miss Rose, two of our awesome science teachers. Come on forward and tell us about this great trip. Yes.
We're back.
We're back. And we love it.
I sent a PowerPoint that I hope you all were able to see with the information that we share with the students. All of the pictures that you see were from this year's trip. This year's trip was a little unique because we had all females on the trip, which was wonderful to see them all, and they had a great time. And opened our eyes a little bit about how we can manage different groups of people. So we are back because we would like to go again next year. There's also in your PowerPoint, on the third slide, I believe, you'll see a link to two different videos. Those were both produced by students who were on the trip this year. They did all the video, all the editing, all the music, everything. We were very fortunate to have two students that were part of the TV editing school downstairs, and they took their job seriously. Both of these videos have been shown on Before the Bells, so that all of the students got a chance to see what we were able to experience while we were there. So I don't know if you have questions about the trip.
Any questions, comments from membership?
We don't do the fundraising, however, we have been starting earlier with this process, so the students who would like to go, if they would like to spearhead fundraising, we are more than happy to support it and work with them to do fundraising.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? No. This is a really cool opportunity, and I appreciate that you always keep coming back to do this. Mr. Greer? Speak for yourself, Mr. Greer. Right. We'll see, Ms. Rose. As I told you, we'll see. Any other questions or comments?
Thank you for continuing to offer these amazing opportunities to our students and some of us that have never been to
A few more years. It's a great trip to go on. It's wonderful to see the perspective of the kids who go change. One of the pictures I put in there is we went to a local high school this year, and they got to interact with the high school students. They introduced each other to different music and different dancing, which was great because we usually go to an elementary school, and this year it was a high school. So it was cool to watch them interact. And have all the young boys ask our girls for phone numbers. No, which we promptly coached them. Give them the wrong number. They were like, what? I'm like, give them the wrong number. So they did learn. It was a really great trip. It was great to be back after the couple years we had to take off with COVID. And it's interesting because in 2020, we were the only trip that got off and completed, not only here in the school, but with our partner, Holbrook Travel. Yeah, so it was good to be back.
Right under the wire. Yeah.
Right under the wire.
One of the highlights for the trip for me was that school experience. It's really eye-opening for our students to get their own perspective as to how much resources we have and opportunity that we have here compared to what they got to see there. And for many of the kids, just the idea of what they spend on coffee every week is a significant amount of money for those people in that town, and the opportunities of going to college for all of our students is almost expected, but for most of those students, it's not even an option. And so to have that chance to see how other people on the planet are moving forward in the 21st century and what they can maybe do about it as they get older and go into the next chapter of their lives it's really powerful. And having been in Marshfield so long and only having 4 principals in my 23-year career, it's always interesting to see how Marshfield has changed in those 20 years and how much we've grown and developed to be way more affluent with so much more opportunity in our new school and all the new initiatives and the MEF funding that wasn't there when I started now. So it's nice to share that with our students after having a lot of fun and doing a lot of science, but also to get that cultural exchange, that world perspective is a great opportunity for our students.
That was also a highlight for me, but I actually spent some time talking to the teachers, and they are dealing with some of the same issues that we are dealing with post-COVID. So it was great to get a world view, per se, on how COVID has impacted education as a whole, not just here in Marshfield.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Ms. Dargan, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, I'm so excited for it. My kids have friends that were on the trip this year, and we followed along on their social media feeds, and we were excited about week. And, you know, for kids who are only not in Marshfield, especially since COVID and stuff, it's nice to see that their views are expanding, like, oh, you can go there, and you can go to your school and have fun, and it's opportunities available, so I'm thrilled.
Mm-hmm. Good. I told you this story, Ms. Rose, the other day when we spoke. We had a mutual student, one of my youth and government students who was also a student that went on your trip. And this student, I don't want to say didn't have as much direction as he wanted, but he was still kind of trying to find out what he wanted to do as he grew a little older. And he went on your trip, and he told me at least 5 different times how much he enjoyed it, how much it changed his direction, and then he ended up going to UVM to study environmental science because he went on that trip, which is pretty cool. And he's graduating this year, so it's pretty cool to see, you know, the tangible impact that it has on students. So I'm ready to move on this. I hope the rest of the committee is as well. And the chair would entertain a motion to approve the Costa Rica trip from February 14th to February 23rd, 2024. Is there a motion? So moved for Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second for Ms. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? 5-0-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you.
Okay, we have 2 items left. They're both relatively quick items before we review our meeting minutes. Going to turn it on over to you, Mr. Granatino, to discuss the school district physician.
Sure. This is our annual appointment. We have 1-year appointments for our school physician, Dr. David Irons. Talked to him. He's very interested in remaining on board as our school physician. As you know, he has a practice here in town as well. I think he has an office over in Hanover, I believe, as well. He also serves as a school physician for Thayer Academy on the his off hours as well. So he likes to help out schools in the area as best he can, and he's done a great job. He's been a great resource for us over the last few years. He came on board in July of 2020 and has done great work for us. His life has calmed down a little bit, post-COVID, which has been good, but he's still there for us and works well with our nursing team. So we'd like to have him come on board for another year as our school physician.
Any questions or comments from the committee? This is an annual appointment.
No, he came on in July of 2020.
I think our previous school physician may have retired.
He had been there for a while.
Yeah.
He has wrapped.
Any other questions or comments from the committee? Okay, is there a motion to approve Dr. Irons as the school district physician? So moved from Ms. Dargan. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Thank you very much. Last item on the agenda before we move to the meeting minutes is the school committee representatives to local collaboratives. Mr. Granatino.
Sure. We're involved with two collaboratives, as you are aware, South Shore Educational Collaborative, as well as the Plymouth Area Collaborative. The Plymouth Area Collaborative, the member schools that send students there are represented by school committee members, whereas the South Shore Educational Collaborative is represented by the school superintendent of each of the member districts. So I'll be looking to see if we could continue in that vein and continue my role as board member for the South Shore Collaborative, and we would need to have a nomination for the Plymouth Area Collaborative.
Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Anything to add from our longtime Pilgrim Area Collaborative representative, Ms. Stetson?
I'm happy to remain on the board,
Yes, since you were elected, yeah. Okay, so we have a nomination on the floor for Ms. Stetson as our Pilgrim Area Collaborative representative. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? Okay, that's a 5-0-0. And then the South Shore Educational Collaborative, our representative has been Mr. Granatino, and we would entertain a motion to reappoint him to that as well. Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's 5-0-0 as well. We have 3 sets of minutes to approve. We've got March 28th, April 11th, and April 24th. So we're obviously going to start with the first set of minutes there. 28th of March. I'll give you folks just a moment to review. And once you folks have had a moment, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the meeting minutes from March 28th, 2023. And just noting, Ms. Dargan, because you are not a member of the committee at that time, we would entertain an abstention from you on this. Motion to approve from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second's been made by Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And abstaining. Thank you. That's a 4-0-1 there, Mrs. Pazurski. The 11th as well. And Ms. Dargan, that's going to be the same deal with that. Motion to approve has been made by Mr. Greer for the meeting minutes on April 11th. Is there a second? And take your time on the second to read through. Second's been made by Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's 3-0-2. Thank you very much. And then the 24th of April. Motion to approve has been made by Mr. Greer. Second would need to be made by Ms. Brate, as Ms. Stetson was not present. Second's been made by Ms. Brate. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed and abstaining. That's also 302 there, Mrs. Pazerski. Well, thank you very much, folks. That is all of the business before us tonight. By the time we see you next, we will have graduated 300 students. Yes? No, go ahead. Including yourself. That's awesome. Thank you, Kendra. Appreciate that. Well, so folks, we'll see you on June 3rd for graduation, and then we'll see you shortly after that for our next meeting. Motion to adjourn. Is there a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Brate. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. That's a roll call there, Mrs. Pazerski. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.